Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to our Behind Her Brand Monday Morning Brew. And if it's a little bit choppy today, I apologize. We have interesting weather, as we always do in Dallas. I hope you have your cup of coffee, your tea, and you're ready to have a good discussion today. I have mine here, just brewed a new fresh cup. I don't know if you can see it that well. The glare in the glass. It says you can do hard things. Y'all seen this one. I love this mug. But I wanted to. This is going to be one of those brews that I'm really wanting your feedback on. One of the things that's really important to me, if you've been a part of my platform, seen anything I've posted over the years, you know that I'm really big on supporting other women, championing other women, and trying to be there in any way that I can. Okay. But one of the things that I know that's a constant conversation, and many of you guys are probably going to be like, yep, I know that conversation, is you hear often that women don't support each other. Women are competing. Women are comparing. Women are not being good to each other. They're talking, backbiting, all these different kind of things. And yet the ultimate desire is, I wish women will be able to support each other. We feel that way, right? And I was thinking about this because of a project that we're working on. And as you guys know, y'all saw the first one, and the second one will be out in a couple of days, the skits that we're doing. And I was reflective on a conversation that happened years ago. And I wanted to share this briefly with you, but I really would love your insights on this. So I was at a function, and I was with a group of women that I knew all of them. And here came in another woman that most of us did not know except for one person. And she was talking, small talk. And then she was like, oh my gosh, let me tell you about, and she just said the name of the person. And she just started going in on this person. Well, the person to my left, she said, oh yeah, I know that person for the last like 10 years. She's amazing, great. And the woman immediately said, oh no, let me tell you what has happened. Immediately, I felt uncomfortable. And I looked over to the ladies to my right, and you can see on their faces, it was like, okay, this conversation went from like something positive, fun, to something more gossipy. And I'm not for that. I understand when people need to vent, and people call me and vent, they need to get off their chest, but there's a difference in venting and gossiping and spreading information about someone that we don't know. So after about a minute or two of her talking, I became disturbed. And so I just said, and if you know me, you know I am not a confrontational person, but I'm also one that has really learned her voice a lot over the years. And so I just said to the person, I said, hey, I said, with all due respect, I know us over here don't know the person you're talking about. And I know that so-and-so here knows her, but we don't. And so I feel uncomfortable with some of the things you're sharing about private matters in this person's life that we don't know. And immediately she shot back and said, well, then y'all can excuse yourselves. So, and so the three of us were like, no, we've been sitting here having a great time talking. So we told her, no, we've been here. And she was like, look, she said, if you don't like my conversation, you don't have to be here. Now, mind you, y'all, she came over to us. So I was like, okay. But the person she was talking to here, she was like, hey, she goes, let's not talk about this right now. And that's all she said. Well, the woman didn't catch the message. And after some time, I'll say after some time, maybe about a few minutes, the three of us just looked, and we were like, you know what? We don't even want to be around this kind of negativity. So we left. And within a couple of minutes, the other person to my left came and joined us. And here's where I would love your thoughts on it. So I asked her, I said, the person she was talking about was your friend, right? She goes, yeah. And I said, like, friend, as if that makes a different meaning to the word. But I said, someone that you really engage with, you talked to. And she said, yes. And I said, so when she was sharing your friend's personal information about things that was happening in her marriage and all kinds of things, like, I'm just curious why you didn't stop that. And she was like, well, that person is very well known in our community. She's a very successful business owner, and she gives me business, and I can't right now afford to lose that. And I was really bothered by that because, it's great to post about supporting each other. It's great to post about speak someone's name when they're not even in the room, right? But I love the women that can be in a room if something is being said negatively, that can say, no, not today. Nope, that's not true. Hey, we're not going to have this conversation. Because when you really think about supporting each other, that's a part of support, is making sure that if someone is being maligned, if information incorrectly about them as businesswomen, or even their personal life is being put out there, is to stop that so that doesn't keep going. And I'm gonna wrap this around, but my first question is, when you have you ever been in a situation that someone was spreading information, whether true, false, whatever, and you spoke up for that person? I would love to learn how you did that and what that felt for you. And the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because as all of us are career women, business women, we're also here to support each other. And support should be something not just alike, not just forwarding and not just holding up the product or materials. It's really and truly showing up for someone, being there for someone in rooms that they may not be in, also speaking well of them. Or if you hear something going to the negative, even if it's that person's experience, just saying, hey, you know, let's not share that information. Not say that their experience it invalidates it or what have you, but I do think if someone's bringing information into a group situation, we should be looking at that. And so over the years, I've been really trying to champion what does support really look like? What does true sisterhood really look like? And I would love how you define sisterhood. How do you really define building the kind of relationships that you value? Those are like, I know, three different questions, and there's a lot of different questions in this particular brew because this is something that I know for our brand, behind her brand, we want to cultivate a community of women that no matter what rooms they're in, they know they're going to be spoken well of. That people who really say, "Hey, I'm with you," are not going to speak negatively behind your back. That they can trust people. I'm not saying it's going to be the case all the time, but that is the goal, the constant goal. And so I like to glean from experiences. And I would love to know your experience about how you say, man, this is how I see real true sisterhood. This is how I would handle, like if someone comes into the room and speaks ill of someone, here's how I would show up in that space. This is good information for all of us to know, learn, and glean from each other because there's going to be times where we're going to be placed in uncomfortable scenarios, uncomfortable situations. And you want to believe the people that are saying that they really care and are supportive of you will be able to speak up for you. I even had that recently with a situation, and um, they had a really, really wrong view of a really good friend of mine, someone that has really grown into like a family member to me. And I had a chance to speak to them on the phone saying, no, let me kind of debunk what you're thinking and feeling because that's not this person. And it was the most productive conversation. Or I could have just sat there and let them say what they wanted to say and be like, well, that's their impression. I don't know. Let me not get involved. Let me take a step back. That wouldn't have been healthy. Because if I'm really going to say I support you and I care about you and I'm here for you, I should support you not with the light, just with the light or trying to refer business, but let me support you in rooms where you're not in, conversations that you're not a part of. Let me make sure I'm still showing up and supporting you in that same way. That can cancel out so much of gossip. It can cancel out wrong information being spewed. It can cancel out so much, even for that person. And the person in the first situation that I shared with you, I met her years later. And she went a really, really public scandal, if you will. And she learned a lesson. And she even told me, not that my conversation made a big difference, but one thing she said was, I learned a lot because I was running my mouth and talking about anything and everything. And she said she relied on her name, she relied on her prestige and everything that, people would just listen until it got done back to her. And a lot of things were spoken about her that were untruth. And so now she says, I don't go into rooms anymore. And I don't do that no more because I don't want that being done to me. And so I would just love to know your feedback, your feelings on this, about what real, true support and sisterhood looks like to you. And how does that show up in your life? And here's the last question. If you could change something about the whole climate of women supporting each other and building together and all the things, because like I said, we can post really encouraging and impactful statements, but what would you really change when you walk into a space with women? What would you like to see done differently? What would you like to see challenged differently? I would love your thoughts and feelings on that. Because like I said, our goal is to build that kind of community where you feel like, no, here, I believe that they're speaking good of me. And if they do have an issue, they'll come to me directly. That's what I'm striving always to build. But would love your insights on this. It's just a topic that I think is worth talking about and really worth having a discussion on. So I look forward to hearing your comments. And I want to encourage you all to hit I don't know if I'm hitting on the wrong side here, the notification button on our Behind the Brand page. It'll let you know anytime we post videos. You all know we will not inundate you with a ton of videos, but that way you're always notified when the brews come up, when we have different special announcements. I would love to make sure that you are always made aware of that. So hit the notification button so that you're always notified when we're going live and when we're getting ready to share some more information with you. But can't wait to see your comments below and start this conversation. You all have an amazing, amazing week.